sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
Shannon Sharpe's legal team isn't just defending him, they're swinging back hard. In a bold move, they exposed graphic texts, named his accuser, and turned a $50 million SA lawsuit into a full-on media war. This isn't just a defense. It's an all-out legal assault. And now, both sides are fighting dirty across every screen. This story doesn't start like most scandals. It kicks off like a bomb dropped straight into the world of sports and celebrity gossip. Shannon Sharpe, once a beloved NFL legend and media icon, is now at the center of a lawsuit that's sending shockwaves across the internet. But here's the twist. Instead of staying quiet, his legal team just launched a defense so wild it's making headlines all by itself. Sharpe's lawyers released a bundle of jaw-dropping X-rated messages they say came from the woman suing him. The texts are beyond graphic. We're talking dog collars, baby gravy, and bizarre money offers like $25K per cheek. Sharpe's team says these prove their relationship wasn't just consensual, it was enthusiastically initiated by her. A statement from Shannon Sharpe's attorney reads, "Bottom line, Shannon has done nothing wrong and intends to fight back against these malicious lies, not with manufactured defenses or imaginary stories, but with documentary proof and real evidence. He intends to pursue claims against Gabby and all who have assisted her with the dissemination of her fabricated story." Shannon looks forward to his day in court, where he can hold Gabby and all who are working in concert with her accountable for the opportunists that they are. But the accuser's lawyer Tony Busby is firing back hard. He says those messages came before the alleged SA, and they're just meant to distract everyone from what really happened. In his words, this is a deliberate smokescreen instead of owning up to his actions. Sharpe has chosen to mislead his lawyers and the public and double down, this time by doxing Jane Doe and attempting to humiliate into silence this woman who is 30 years his junior. Mr. Sharpe's aggressive approach will instead have the opposite effect. Ms. Doe is not afraid of the truth, she relies upon it. And with the updates from the legal teams, it's clear their strategy is bold. Go public, get ahead of the headlines, and paint Sharpe as the real victim. Whether it works or not, that's still up in the air. But one thing's for sure. This case is no longer just a lawsuit. It's a full-blown media firestorm. And trust me, this is just the beginning. If you're into the real tea, not just the headlines, but the receipts, the legal twists, the sponsor drama, then you're in the right place. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update as this story blows wide open. Because we're not just reacting to the mess, we're breaking it down. The real chaos didn't come from the lawsuit itself. It exploded the moment Charlamagne Tha God stepped into the ring. On The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne didn't hold back. He asked the uncomfortable question everyone else was too nervous to see out loud. What is a 54-year-old man doing in a sexual relationship with a 19-year-old? That one sentence, it cracked the internet wide open. People weren't just surprised, they were angry, confused, and disappointed. Shannon Sharpe isn't just a sports commentator. He's seen as a mentor, especially in the Black community. He constantly talks about discipline, wisdom, and staying focused. So to hear that he was possibly involved with someone more than 30 years younger, it didn't just sound messy, it sounded hypocritical. Charlamagne's moment went viral for a reason. It wasn't just what he said, it was how real it felt. Because even if Sharpe's legal team proves the relationship was consensual, the optics are terrible. Brands don't wait for court dates. They respond to vibes, and right now, the vibe is ugly. This is where things got bigger than the lawsuit. It stopped being about legal documents and started becoming a culture war. Twitter debates, TikTok breakdowns, heated conversations in barbershops, and group chats. It's no longer just about one woman's accusations. It's about image, influence, and the fallout of what happens when a public figure's entire reputation gets questioned in real time. And, for Shannon, that spotlight just got 100 times hotter. This isn't just a quick scandal that'll blow over. The lawsuit goes deep, and the details are messy, uncomfortable, and serious. According to new civil court filings out of Nevada, the woman behind the case says she and Shannon Sharpe weren't just some short fling. She claims their relationship lasted nearly 2 years and that things slowly went from fun to frightening. She was 19 when it allegedly started. Now she's 22. Her team says things took a dark turn somewhere, in between, from consent to control and then to abuse. She says Sharpe used threats, pressure, and intimidation to keep her quiet. One of the scariest claims? That he told her he would brutally choke and violently slap her. Those words are direct quotes from the lawsuit. Now, here's where. Both sides are fighting hard. Shannon's legal team says the relationship started later in 2023, when she was already 20, hoping to push the timeline away from the worst claims. They're also leaning hard on those graphic messages to say it was all mutual. But the woman's lawyer, Tony Busby, says those texts are irrelevant. Why? Because they don't change what allegedly happened later. So now it all comes down to one brutal question. Does giving consent once mean you gave it forever? And do sexy texts erase what someone says happened after things turned violent? This case is no longer about one event. It's about the timeline, the power, and the truth. That's still tangled in between. This case isn't just being fought in a courtroom. It's being dragged through the internet at full speed. The moment the lawsuit dropped and those wild text messages were released, the internet went crazy. Within hours, memes were everywhere. TikToks were pulling clips from the Breakfast Club, and Reddit turned into a full-blown detective agency, breaking down every word like it was a true crime doc. And while some people were roasting Shannon Sharpe online, his fans started pushing back. They pointed to his past, how he rose from poverty in rural Georgia, how he's donated millions, mentored young athletes, and built his name with hard work and hustle. But here's the thing, cancel culture doesn't care about your resume. In today's world, it only takes one viral scandal to wipe out decades of respect. And that's exactly what's happening. Right now, Sharpe isn't just facing a civil lawsuit, he's stuck in the middle of a digital war. One side sees him as a predator with power and money. The other thinks he's being unfairly attacked without due process. But here's the scary part. The internet moves faster than the truth. People don't wait for court dates or evidence. They see a headline, a text screenshot, or a viral clip, and boom, they've made up their mind. So whether he's innocent or not, Shannon Sharpe's reputation is already on trial. And the jury? It's millions of people with Wi-Fi opinions and the power to cancel with one tap. You'd think the lawyers were the most powerful people in this story. But nope. The real bosses are the sponsors, the brands, the companies cutting the checks. In today's media game, they don't wait around to see how a case plays out. They move fast, and when scandal hits, they run faster. As soon as Shannon Sharpe's name got linked to that $50 million lawsuit, things started shifting behind the scenes. Most of his endorsement deals have what's called a morals clause. That means if a celebrity becomes a PR disaster, the brand can legally ditch them, no questions asked. And that's exactly what's happening now. Multiple companies tied to Shannon's image are already reevaluating their partnerships. That's just corporate speak for we're backing away quietly before this blows up even worse. His face is disappearing from campaigns. Commercials are getting pulled. Brands are hitting pause. And in the PR world, pause usually means bye forever. Charlamagne put it bluntly, brands don't wait for truth, they wait for trends. And right now, Shannon is trending for all the wrong reasons. It's a brutal truth. In the fame business, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If your name is attached to controversy, your image becomes toxic. And for someone like Sharpe, whose empire is built on personality and public trust, that kind of damage can be worse than any courtroom ruling. Because when the money walks out, the spotlight fades just as fast. Now, here's the trap Shannon Sharpe can't escape. No matter what he does, he loses. If he settles the lawsuit, people will say he's paying to keep things quiet. But if he fights it all the way in court, every dark, messy detail risks becoming public. It's a classic lose-lose situation. Insiders say settlement talks were already happening before the lawsuit went public. And while settling doesn't mean guilt, let's be real. In the eyes of the public, it looks like an admission, especially when those explicit texts are floating around making headlines. Shannon's lawyers say the messages prove everything was consensual, but the accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, says that doesn't matter. His exact words, those texts are legally irrelevant. Now it's turning into a full-blown battle of narrative versus evidence. Sharpe's side wants people focused on the wild, kinky texts. The accuser's team wants the world to pay attention to what allegedly came after: the threats, the control, the abuse. And the longer this plays out, the more the internet takes over the story. Discovery will leak. People will dig through old videos. Blogs will twist facts into clickbait. And if Shannon stays silent or looks too calculated, folks will start writing their own version of what really happened. That's the danger. The longer this drags on, the more his silence becomes part of the story, and not in a good way. So the big question now is, can Shannon Sharpe come back from this? The answer, maybe. But it won't happen with lawyers, it won't happen with PR spin, and it definitely won't happen with silence. If he wants a shot at saving his legacy, he has to step up and speak directly to the people. No fancy statements, no polished defenses, just real, raw truth. Fans don't expect perfection, but they do expect accountability. Even if Sharpe keeps denying the accusations, people want to see that he's taken a moment to reflect, to show he understands just how serious and damaging this situation is. Because hiding behind a legal team while the internet writes the story, that's how you lose control of your own narrative. He actually has a rare opportunity here, not just to defend himself, but to evolve. If he owns the moment, he could turn this scandal into something bigger. A conversation about fame, power, trust, and the high price of living under the spotlight. He could even become a voice for athletes dealing with controversy and cancel culture. But the clock is ticking. Every day he stays quiet, the public drifts further away, and the rumors, the memes, the headlines take over. People may not remember every detail of the case years from now, but they will remember how he's responded when the fire got hottest, and that one decision might be the difference between redemption and ruin. Shannon Sharpe's world has officially been flipped upside down. What started as a private lawsuit has exploded into a public circus, with headlines, leaked messages, and social media outrage pulling him in every direction. His reputation, career, and legacy are all hanging by a thread. And while his legal team is fighting hard in the courtroom, the real battle might be happening online, where public opinion forms faster than verdicts and doesn't wait for facts. One thing's for sure, everyone's watching. Fans, haters, brands, networks. The court of law may take months, but the court of public opinion, it's already in session. And when the dust settles, we won't just be asking what happened. We'll be asking how Shannon Sharpe chose to respond when everything was on the line. If you thought this was wild, wait until you see what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay locked in because this story is far from over.